Hey everybody, I'm Roland Frazier and I'm excited to be here today because I'm going to share with you a radical new approach to driving traffic and acquiring traffic, and it's called ZDOT. ZDOT stands for $0 traffic. So with that said, I just want to say you're in the right place today if you're in a few different situations. If you're suffering from overwhelm, there's so many different ways that you can generate traffic, and it's easy to get lost and overwhelmed and end up being frozen and doing nothing because so many different alternatives. So we're going to help you with that. We're going to help you identify specific types of traffic that you're going to want to get. Also, traffic is insanely complicated. Over the last several years, traffic has just gone absolutely nuts. There's so many different tools. There's so many different ways to do it. And by the way, you also get stuck playing by their rules. So if you're in the right place, if you are tired of playing by their rules and getting shut down, and if you want more autonomy and more freedom in how you do this. The other thing that I want to talk about is how we approach traffic. Because most of us think ourselves as traffic builders. We have to build a list. We have to build a site and then rank it. We have to build social media. We have to build a group. We have to build podcasts. We have to build products. All of these things that we have to build. But I want to get you outside your comfort zone for a minute here. I want to talk about something completely different, a radical new way of thinking about traffic. And that is, why not acquire assets that already have traffic? Why not acquire assets that already have traffic? That's what $0 traffic is all about. If you own the traffic assets, instead of having to rent them from Facebook, from Google, from all the places that you pay currently to advertise, where you have to play by their rules, where they get to say down, where they don't like the quality of your ads, or they don't like the thing that you're advertising. If you'd like to escape all of that, you can. And it's by owning the traffic. I'm going to give you a couple of case studies here now. I want to talk about a couple of case studies just to show you how this works in some of the things that we've done. So the first is a $250,000 Facebook group, which we've acquired for $0 out of pocket. Zero OOP, out of pocket. Zero OOP stands for out of pocket. Okay, so here's what we did. There was a 253,000 person Facebook audience in one of the niches that we wanted to acquire traffic in. And initial ask, $250,000. How did they come up with that price? Just pulled it out of the air, said, oh, well, I guess $1 a name, $250,000. Sounds right, right? So we negotiated that. Typically for these traffic assets, you want to pay one time annual profit. So one-time annual profit in that case was $1,500. So what we did was we offered them $1,500 with what we call a DDP. That's a deferred down payment, meaning we didn't pay them that $1,500 out of pocket right away. We deferred that for 30 days. We were then able to pay that completely from cash flow from the money that came from converting people in that new asset that we had acquired into paying customers. Okay, I'm going to give you another one. This is a $125,000 Facebook group, which we also bought for $0 out of pocket. This was in the real estate space. So this one was a little bit more expensive to us. We negotiated the price. We were able to they were asking $125,000. This was only 53,000 members, but they were very valuable. Anybody that converts was worth quite a bit of money, and there was a lot of activity there. So these guys knew that this group was worth more than, say, $1,500 or something like that, even though they had, in this case, not really been generating much income from it. So we were able to negotiate a $75,000 purchase price down from the $125,000 just through straight negotiations. And then the way that we paid for it, though, was we said, we'll do an RBF deal. RBF stands for revenue-based funding. Revenue-based funding is RBF. So we said, the first funds that come in from cash flow from the new stuff that we're doing, we will pay those to you, okay? We'll pay those to you up to $70,000 of that $75,000. We were able immediately to go out and get a sponsor who paid $50,000 to be a sponsor exclusively in their niche, which didn't compete with us. We were in the real estate space, they were in the mortgage space. And so they paid $50,000 for a one-year sponsorship, and that MB stands for mortgage broker. And then another $20,000 sponsorship to a training company. We didn't do training, so we said, okay, well, we don't do mortgages and we don't do training. We can simply have that be paid by a sponsor. Now, here's the cool thing about sponsors. Sponsors pay you every year. Sponsors are not equity owners, right? If we had sold equity in this for that amount, we would have gotten that one time and it would be gone. But because we did it as sponsors, we don't give any equity, and we get paid that money every single year. Okay? So the remaining $5,000 we did as an equity split deal with the finder of this group, and they put up $2,500. The other $2,500 we just did with a credit card cash advance, okay? So we were able to do this with $0 out of pocket. One more example, this is a podcast, $500,000 podcast, $0 out of pocket. 6-year-old podcast had 800 different episodes. How cool would it be if you suddenly had access to a podcast that had been around for 6 years and had hundreds of episodes? $400,000 purchase price, $100,000 done through an owner carry, meaning that the owner agreed to finance $100,000 of this. Another $100,000 we sold a sponsor, right? Just like we talked about before. $100,000 doing what we call a fractional rights vertical. This simply is the same thing that I was talking about with sponsors, except we had someone who had a completely different vertical. They weren't related to this at all that was interested in coming in. And last but not least, an earnout. An earnout is how you buy something when you can't agree on a purchase price or they want a little bit more. So for that last $100,000, they said, we think this is worth this much money because it's going to be making so much more money a year or two down the road than it's making right now, and with an earnout. But when and if it actually you're talking about, if it does that, we'll pay you that extra 100 then. Now it'll be easy because obviously it will have earned a lot more money, and we'll just pay them from that money. So using those 4 strategies, we were able to acquire that traffic asset for $0 out of pocket. Now, when you talk to people about traffic and you say, what are the things that are most important to you? What are the things that are most important to companies and marketers with respect to traffic? It's how can I generate traffic and leads? To buy ads or to buy traffic. And last but not least, how do I secure the budget to do this? How do I actually have the cash to be able to do it? Well, like I said, you're in the right place because we're going to talk about how you can do all of those things. You can actually have it all. And here's how we're going to do that, okay? We're going to do 3 things. First, we're going to conduct a traffic gap audit. That's what we're going to do first. Then the next thing we're going to do is laser target the ideal customer profile, ICP, not insane clown posse, as my son said, assets to rapidly scale customer acquisition. And then last but not least, we're going to acquire ZDOT, $0 traffic assets for 0 out of pocket to fill the traffic gaps that we identified in the traffic audit. Now, as I mentioned, traffic is more complicated than ever. Marketing is more complicated than ever. There's over 7,000 different MarTech, marketing tech companies right now, right? This is an infographic. They're so small on there that you can't even see them, right? Crazy, crazy, crazy. Now, here are my goals for you during this 3-session mini class. First, I'm going to help you find new traffic honey holes, okay? Second, we're going to free yourself from the paid traffic hamster wheel using $0 traffic assets. And last but not least, I'm going to show you how to acquire as many traffic assets, as many of these ZDOT traffic assets as you want for $0 out of pocket. If you don't have to pay anything out of your own pocket, doesn't mean you're acquiring them for no money. It means that you're not having to come out of pocket for them. When you can do that, you basically have an unlimited checkbook to acquire as many of these types of assets as you would like. In session 1, we're going to talk about today why traffic stalls, right? And what are the keys to persistent traffic? And what you may be aware of or not, but let's just kind of take a look here, is you have your ideal market. These are the people that are most aware. These are your keywords that you're advertising. They already know about your product, your service, and they want to buy. The next one is the available market. These are the people who know that they want a solution, they have the need and they're aware of that, and they know that the solution is available, they just haven't pulled the trigger yet. Then you get the addressable market. These are all the people that actually have the challenge or the problem that your thing that you have to offer solves for them. And then last but not least, there's the scalable market, all the people who are unaware. Now, you can buy traffic assets, Z-Dot traffic assets, in all of these different categories, right? In all of these different categories. And remember, though, the challenge is, though, as you're trying to get more people into your offers, into the things that you're selling, your audience expands, but your acquisition costs go up. Your conversion rates go down. And everything ultimately stops working because you just can't afford to do it anymore, right? And you simply start chasing shiny objects, new things. Maybe I should do TikTok, right? That's what happens here. So to solve that, we use Z-Dot and a collection of tools that I'll share with you over these 3 sessions. And Z-Dot is unique because it scales ads without ads cost, right? Without ads costing you anything. It's instant, self-liquidating, and it has no budget constraints. That's why it's so magical. Now, the fact is that you have to know where you are to get to where you want to go, right? So I'm going to talk a little bit now about the traffic triad. Traffic triad is you've got to have available media. There has to be a place to advertise. There has to be a place to get these people who have an interest in whatever it is you have to sell, either directly at the bottom there, the people that know what they want, all the way up to the people that aren't yet readily aware of it. You also have to have a consistent budget. How can you afford to continue paying for this? And last but not least, your budget for the available traffic has to be able to acquire the traffic at a cost that makes sense. So we're looking at ROAS, which is return on ad spend, and we're looking at customer acquisition cost, or CAC. When you get these 3 things together, it can be magical, right? But if you don't have the target ROAS, or customer acquisition cost, then you can't earn a profit. Even though you've got available traffic and a budget, if you can't acquire traffic profitably, then you can't make any money. So why do it, right? Now, if you have available media and you have the target ROAS, but you don't have any budget, then the door's shut. You don't have the key to get in, which is money, right? Usually. So you can't access this available traffic. And last but not least, if you have a consistent budget and you're able to generate your traffic at an acceptable customer acquisition cost and ROAS, then there's not enough available media, then you can't scale, right? So it's like, great, I've got the money and I've got it working. I've got my offer working within an acceptable ROAS and CAC, but there's not enough media. Can't scale. So those are the 3 things we want to talk about. But when you get all 3 working together, that is the goal, right? That is the goal. Okay, so first we're going to talk about available media, okay? How do we find media and how do we address that? Because remember, if you've got a budget and target ROAS and CAC, but no available media or not enough, 3 different tools that will help you with each of these 3 different challenges. The first tool will help you when you can't scale, haven't got it, and that tool is the traffic gap audit, okay? Now, the second problem that you might have is that you might not have a consistent budget to be able to, access the traffic, right? So we're gonna solve that by using our Z-Dot targeting to target the types of assets to acquire. And then last but not least, if you're not meeting your target ROAS and CAC, you can't earn any profit. And the way that we're going to be able to solve that is we're going to use a tool called the TAC sheets, the traffic asset cluster sheets, and we'll go over those in session 3. So Z-Dot, remember, is unique because it scales without ads or ad costs. It's instant, it's self-liquidating, and it has no budget constraints. So in the next session, we're going to do 3 more things. We are going to explode your available traffic by 2 to 8 times. We're going to unearth hidden ROI traffic honey holes. And last but not least, we're going to master your traffic using the TGA tool. So come back next time, and in session 2, we'll share all of those things with you as well. I'm Roland Frazier for Z-Dot. Thank you. of Z.traffic. Z. is $0 traffic. Z.traffic. And that's a radical new approach to traffic. We talked about some really cool things in the last session. Today, we're going to talk about how to 2 to 8x your traffic, okay? Now, just to give you a refresher from last time, we talked about the traffic triad. And the traffic triad has available media, consistent budget, and target ROAS, meeting your target return on ad spend, and CAC, your customer acquisition cost. And when you get all three of these things going, life is really good. If you don't have all of them, if you've got two or only one, then you will find that you can't profit, or you can't scale, or you can't access the available traffic, okay? Now, today we're going to start by talking about available media. So when you don't have enough available media, even when you've got consistent budget and you're able to hit your numbers, your target ROAS, your target CAC, customer acquisition cost, the problem is you won't be able to scale, okay? You won't be able to scale. So we have a solution for that. But first, let's take a look at this. This is a study from eConsultancy and Adestra. This is the highest ROI, return on investment, traffic channels for 2020. And this is kind of interesting, and these are in order. Number one is email marketing. It means you need to have email going, right? So you got to build a list for that. SEO, organic search, means you got to get your sites up and get them ranked. Paid search, paying for traffic in Google. Again, that's something you're going to buy your way in. That's not really a purchasable traffic asset, but I'll tell you what, these two are. You can buy email lists and you can buy sites that are already existing and already ranked. Social media, that's another one, right? We can buy social media sites. We can buy Facebook groups or control of them, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, all of those kinds of things. Mobile marketing, I mean, that's not really a separate category in my mind for a traffic asset because we want assets that work both on mobile and desktop. Offline direct marketing, that would be direct mail, print ads, television shows, events, things like that. We can definitely acquire those. Affiliate marketing, what about affiliates? We can actually buy affiliates, or we can buy traffic assets that already have affiliates that are promoting them. And then online display advertising, right? So we're able to buy email marketing, SEO, content marketing, social media, online, offline direct marketing, affiliate marketing. All of those are traffic assets that we can purchase. When we own them, then it's $0 traffic for us, okay? So let's take a look at how we analyze this. We use a tool called the Traffic Gap Audit to do this. And so for that, we take, and you'll look along, this is an actual sheet, right? If you look along the top in the colored panels, then you can see that I have the types of assets that, by the way, in order of return on investment, return the greatest return for every dollar we spend. So that's email, SEO, paid search, Facebook and Instagram, one of the most important social channels, YouTube and other video, another important channel, offline direct response, affiliate, and paid display. So when we're looking at how we're running our traffic, the easiest thing to do is to have these main categories that we look at and we say, which of these are we using currently for each of our profit centers? So on the top, we have each of the traffic sources, and on the left side, we have our profit centers. In this case, for this example, I have a newsletter as a profit center. We have a product that we sell, a service that we sell, a mastermind, a coaching program, and consulting, which kind of covers a pretty broad array of the types of products that you might have profit centers for. Now, you might have 6 products or so. Do it using this sheet. Now, when you've got your profit centers, you say, okay, what's the contribution margin of each of these profit centers to total profits? And here you can see newsletter, only about 1%. In this case, the product was 15%. Another service was 15%. A mastermind providing 10%. And then coaching, which is a relatively high dollar service, 30%. Consulting, about 30 as well, 29. So all this adds up to 100%. So you put all your profit centers on this side, and then take your total profits and divide total profits into the profit